Hi everyone, Nicole here with the Savory Grape. Happy almost fall. I can't believe that summer is almost over, and today I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite transitional dishes. It is traditional orecchiette with squash, sausage, and broccoli rabe. This dish is awesome because it's super quick and easy to make, but it is packed with so much flavor. It is beautiful to eat any time of year, but I really love it in these months because it isn't too heavy, but it does have so much substance to it. I'm pairing it today with the Perlavilla Nebbiolo. It is one of the wines of the month, 100% Nebbiolo grapes from Lombardi, Italy. It is really light, easy to drink, nice dry finish, and has some really beautiful fruit notes to it. Nebbiolo pairs really nicely with sausage, anything with a little bit of cheese because it helps cut through the fat. It has nice tannins to it, but it's still super light. So it's a great summer to fall drinker, and we are going to make an amazing pairing today. So let's get cooking. So as I mentioned, this dish is really simple and quick to make, and it's because it has such few ingredients to it, but it really does pack a great punch of flavor. So we have some fresh orecchiette pasta, butternut squash, sweet Italian sausage, broccoli rabe, and then a tiny bit of heavy cream goes into this and Parmesan cheese. First things first, you're going to cook the sausage in a light drizzle of olive oil and just get it nice and toasty brown. You really don't want to overcook it here because it will see heat again later in this recipe. So just get it nice and brown and then remove it and set it to the side. We're going to cook the squash in the same exact pan. Just drizzle with a little olive oil, some salt and pepper. Start sauteing that so it gets a little bit softer. Squash can be so tough, so we want it to be really, really soft. Once we start to notice it get a little bit squishier, we're adding in the broccoli rabe. So what we're gonna do is just let that sit, continue to stir so it doesn't sit for too long. Add a little bit of olive oil if necessary. And then what we're gonna do is actually cover that and really let the heat set in. So this is important because it's going to kind of marinate in the warm air. And you see it gets really bubbly. This is exactly what we want. We want it to really get that heat on it, and we're just gonna keep moving it around, pushing all the vegetables together, and you'll notice the squash is getting really, really mushy. This is the perfect texture. We're gonna add the sausage back in. So this is why it's super important that you don't overcook it in the first step. So we're just gonna mix that all in, and it's gonna continue to thicken and get really nice and tasty. So this is probably one of the most important steps. You wanna make sure it's not sticking to the bottom of the pan, but also getting enough heat so that it's really, really setting in nicely. Once the vegetables and the sausage are nice and soft, we're gonna add in our heavy cream. I did this by eyeball here, but I think I did the equivalent of about half a cup. That is what I would recommend that anyone who's measuring at home uses. You'll see later in the video, top it off a little bit because I wasn't happy with the consistency. So after I put in that about half cup, I just stirred it, really got everything nice and covered. I turned it down so it could simmer on low. I don't want to overcook it or get it too bubbly. So we had it nice, it's ready to sit, nice and simmery. And you'll see in this next clip, I actually went in and I just topped it off a tiny bit more. This is just personal preference. I didn't want it to be too thick and not creamy enough because you really want to coat that pasta. So just mixing it around, you can see the texture is getting nice. The pasta is nice and boiling, so once it reaches that fast boil, I added in the orecchiette. We are going to let that sit in there for 10 to 12 minutes. I really like my pasta al dente. I think it gives a nice base for the sauce. Orecchiette is the best for this pasta because it has the nice ridges and the little hollow inside, so it really just holds it nicely. I like to stir so it doesn't stick to the bottom, and just kind of check on the pasta and make sure it's not too soft. Super important tip here is you're actually going to reserve half a cup of water. This is so important because you're going to add it back into the sauce afterwards, and it really just helps the pasta kind of hold its texture, and it makes the sauce taste even better. I know it's like a restaurant secret. So here you can see the pasta is drained, it's back in, and I'm adding in that half cup of water. I am going to stir it in and just mix that around prior to adding the sauce. It's just giving it that nice little base, and it's going to keep the pasta nice and smooth, not sticky. That's not what we want. We want it to be like nice and soft. So now I'm mixing in the sauce, and how delicious does that look? It is really setting in. It's nice and creamy. Lots of sausage, squash. You could see that it all blended together really nicely, and the rabe adds a super nice touch of green without being too overpowering. And that is it. You're ready to serve. I'm topping this off with a tiny bit of Parmesan cheese and red pepper flakes for an added bit of spice. I hope you enjoy, and cheers.